Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to join us tonight. So we could share a little bit about the power of CBD and Green Compass. So what we're going to do during the next 25 minutes or so is we're going to talk a little bit about what CBD is, how it works at a high level, and what sets Green Compass CBD apart, and a little bit about our company. And throughout this journey of our discussion, we're going to share how it has helped us in different ways. So I'm really excited to have some customers and business partners on this call. I'm Laura Siepko. I'm a master director with Green Compass. I've been here for 2 years. Our company's been around only just a little bit more than 2 years. So it's been exciting to be part of the business. But before we get into Green Compass, just to level set, a lot of people really don't understand what CBD is. And if you do, please forgive me. But just to level set, CBD won't get you high. CBD comes from the hemp plant. So a lot of times people think that CBD will get them high because they get it confused with the marijuana plant. But you got two plants that are cousins. You have the hemp plant and you have the marijuana plant. They look the same, they smell the same, but they do not act the same. Marijuana is very high in THC. That's what gets you stoned. Very low in THC. CBD is very high the hemp plant is very high in CBD. Actually, CBD is really considered the essential oil of the hemp plant. And the hemp plant has only trace amounts of THC in it. So it's nothing that will get you high or stoned. In 2019, the Farm Bill was passed and it made hemp to be grown legally in our entire country. And that's boom, when you saw the industry just actually explode. Because if you're like me, you see CBD everywhere. And that's really a key reason why we're on here tonight, is that it is everywhere, but you shouldn't buy it everywhere. And so we want to share a little bit about that because the industry is currently unregulated. So it's really important that people understand what they're putting in their bodies. But the other reason why there's been such a big boom in this business is that in the 1990s, the endocannabinoid system was discovered by researchers and scientists, and it discovered really the power of what CBD could do in your body. So our bodies, even our pets, anything with a spine, our dogs, our cats, our dolphins, our horses, have an endocannabinoid system. And this system spans across our 11 major organ systems. And it's pretty much the body's management system. So it regulates everything that's happening in our body. And so when our body faces stressors, it gets out of balance. But what happens is CBD comes in your body. I'm going to keep it really simple. It interacts within that endocannabinoid system, and it nourishes and it replenishes your body so you're balanced both physically and mentally. And so it's a very strong, it helps your immune system. It's a neuroprotectant. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory. And you know that inflammation is a precursor of many, many diseases out there. And so that's why you hear, because it works across 11 major organ systems, that's why you hear people say, oh, well, it helps me with my anxiety. It helps me with my pain. It helps me with my sleep, because it works throughout your entire body. And what's really cool is there's a lot of different ways that CBD can benefit you. It can help, and that's what what Green Compass has. We have topicals. So there's topicals. There's also water soluble, which we have as well, and in a jelly. And then there's oils, and really CBD oils, that's kind of where the start of really the CBD rage started, really with the CBD oil. And so Green Compass has water soluble, we have topicals, and we have oils. And so before I move on, I wanted to turn it over to Phil Bender, because Phil has a great story and a testimonial about his use of CBD oil. So Phil, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Laura. My CBD journey started when I was sledding with one of my grandchildren, and I was in the backyard. We down a hill. I was coming back up the hill with the sled, and I slipped and fell, and right on my right knee. And I can say unequivocally that that was the worst pain I think I had ever experienced. And it's lasted for about 2 weeks till I got to see the doctor. And she said what I suspected she would say. She said, "You really tore up your meniscus and we're going to have to remove that." So she's put me on some pain medication until she could get me scheduled for surgery. And they removed, I would say, 90% of my meniscus in the right knee. So I thought, well, that'll cure the pain. And coming out of surgery, I felt great because I was on an anesthetic. And however, I was wrong about that. That pain post-operatively was probably worse than the initial pain that I had. So she put me on steroids. Steroids, I don't know if you know this, but steroids, they'll take away the pain because they reduce inflammation, but they also damage the joint a great deal. That's something the doctors won't tell you unless you bring it up to them. And then they'll admit that, yes, that it's very damaging to the joint over time. So I was looking at total knee surgery. She told me, she said, "You're going to have to get a total knee somewhere down the line. In the interim, I'll keep giving you steroid shots." And she had another shot that she put in my knee, and that gave me some relief. She also gave me a topical medication to put on. And I was taking a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory on top of it. Well, long story short, I came across CBD and I thought, well, I'll give this a try. And so I started taking the CBD and all my residual pain went away. My swelling went down dramatically. And when I went back for a follow-up with her, she said, she said, "Looks like you're doing really well." I said, "Yeah, I started CBD." She said, "Well, why don't you keep doing that?" She said, "Why don't we try getting you off of these injections and the prescription medications?" I said, "Fine." So we did that. She weaned me off of that stuff. And I was good up until this day. It stopped I stopped all my meds. I started off with another CBD because Green Compass wasn't around yet because it was early. And then I started doing some research on CBD, and I came across Green Compass. And through Laura, I knew Laura from my previous job with Johnson & Johnson. And she told me all about how great this was. And I'm sure she'll tell us tonight how good Green Compass is. And it even got better since then. So I knew there was a big difference in CBDs and how important that was. I mean, it's really, really important. I'm sure Laura will cover that. But yeah, you really want to be careful what kind of CBD you're using. You certainly don't want to buy it from a gas station. So now I'm on Green Compass, and I've messed around with different doses. Right now, I take a jelly, which is our new jelly, and I take a quarter of a cc. Yeah, oh, they're delicious. I love those, and they're good for your immune system now too, with the new jelly we have. But nevertheless, I take one jelly, and then I take a quarter of a cc of the 1,000 milligram CBD, and that takes care of everything for me. Yeah, I've messed around with taking a full ml of 1,000 milligrams, but I really like the taste of the jelly, so I switched over to the jellies, mostly because of taste, but it really does the job. I love what this does for me. I am pain-free, and I love it. As a great side effect, as I call it, I have this real good sense of well-being now and calm. I never thought I was very stressed, but in today's economy, things get a little stressful. And this really, really smooths you out. That's what Laura was referring to, what the endocannabinoid system does. And it's been a great thing for me, that I wasn't expecting. I love it. I take stress a lot better than I ever did. And I feel really good. The other thing is that I have a 10-year-old lab, and Maggie, and old Maggie has really bad arthritis. And so I started giving her CBD. And I honestly, I'm not kidding you. She can't walk if she doesn't have CBD. She literally can't. She won't get up and go up and down stairs or anything. When I give her CBD, and I do that every day now, she is like a puppy. She runs after a Frisbee. She runs after a ball. She goes up and down stairs. She'll beat me upstairs. My office is upstairs. When I start walking upstairs, she wants to be with me. She runs way ahead of me. So it's great, like Laura said, for any of our animals and pets that have a spine. It works for everything from geckos to dogs to cats to goats and horses. I mean, it's really, really good. And so that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And but I could talk for hours about this. So I love it.
I won't let him tonight.
No.
But I will say this: is Phil mentioned goats because his daughter has goats, so that's literally as pets. So thank you for sharing that. It's really rewarding to hear that. I mean, I've known Phil for over 20 years, and it's just I just loved it. It's helped him so much. And the oil for me, it's helped me. The biggest thing that I noticed was sleep. I sleep very, very deep. So the oil for me has really helped with that. And that's one of the biggest things people come to us for as well. It's really sleep and pain, right? And Phil had mentioned, the stuff out there, what you need to look at. So you've got like how it works in the body. You've got the legality of it. So then all these investors have gotten into the business, right? But they don't know farming. They don't know agriculture. They're in it for the money. And our company was founded on family. And they started to create it because they wanted to create the CBD for their family and friends. It wasn't, hey, we want to make a buck. Our company just kind of happened out of like happenstance, which it wasn't even planned. And so what happened is our founder, Meredith Cook, had feelings of sadness after she had her children. Her brother, Brooks, was a triathlete. He used CBD for recovery, and he said, hey, I hear it helps with sadness. Why don't you give it a try? And she tried it, and it really helped her. And before I move on to the next part of our story, speaking of athletes, Donna, she is an uber athlete. She works out all the time. Health is very important to her. So I wanted Donna to take a couple minutes and share her personal journey with CBD.
Thank you. So I think uber athlete is a bit of an exaggeration, but that's okay. I do work out every morning with my husband, and I will say that I was diagnosed with a autoimmune disorder many years ago, and I had it under control for a long time, probably because I work out all the time. But during the shutdown, all my symptoms flared up, and I was in excruciating joint pain. Getting out of bed and standing on my feet was really, really painful every day. But I still went to the gym and everything. But I did some modifications with nutrition and some other things. And it wasn't until, and I was getting migraines, which I had never gotten before, but it was all from the stress of the shutdown. It wasn't until I started using the CBD every day that I'm like, oh, my joint pain. In the first few days, like the joint pain was better. So I was able to go harder at the gym. And then I noticed it, like, I realized it was like probably day 30 that I woke up, and we get up and go to the gym at 5:30. We go to the gym every morning, and I noticed that I was in a really good mood. I had a lot of great energy. I'm like, what did I do last night? I feel so good. Then I realized that was probably day 30. If I thought about it when I went backwards, like, of taking CBD consistently every day for 30 days. And my mood was unbelievable. Like, I felt so good. And being postmenopausal and all the things that come with that, night sweats, sweating, hot flashes, things like that, they were all gone too for me. And so I was able to, I work out, I lift a lot of weight. I'm really, really strong, but I can do it and I feel so good. My mood is so good. I drive, pretty far for work, so there's a lot of traffic. So I take a little in the morning before I go to work, so it does smooth me out. Like Phil was saying, I feel calm in the traffic, work all day, and I take more at nighttime. So I sleep great, which I think is the basis for all good health is sleep. So, but I'm able to work out every day. I thank God don't have any joint pain. I can't tell you how bad it was just a few months ago, and being consistent now. It's a few months of taking CBD every day. I just keep feeling better and better. And I noticed that I was around the woman that was postmenopausal, and she was having a hot flash. I'm like, I don't have those right now. So great. I'll give you a quick, my husband, because of the shutdown, we were working out at home and we were doing a home equipment, and it really messed him up because he's a really big, broad guy and he can really lift a lot of weight still. And we're well in our 50s. And his shoulder was really jacked up, and my kit just came, and I got the pain cream came, and I said, yeah, that's it, thank you, the reduced pain cream. And I'm like, hey, let's try this, I'm gonna put it on your shoulder. And I gave him like just a half a dropper of the oil before we went to the gym, and I just rubbed the cream on one day. I see him that morning, and I see him working out, and he's doing shoulder exercise. I'm like, wow, his shoulder was really jacked up, and he was doing things, and I'm like, that's pretty good. And then just one time we used the reduced cream on his shoulder and his pain went away. Then he was taking the CBD every day, and a few days later he came to, he was doing shoulders again a few days later, and he said, I'm able to lift, or chest or whatever, I'm able to lift more than I'm able to lift what I was able to lift months ago that I haven't been able to lift for many months now. And he's like, he's like, that stuff's working. I'm like, great, tell all your friends. So then like the next week, he's like, I'm benching more than I've benched in like, not only did he get back to where he was, he surpassed that, and he didn't have any pain, and he's totally free moving. I actually did a video of him at the gym the other day because he's, doing the whole rack and everything. And our dog takes it. Our dog does so good. And the storms, the older our dog gets, he's probably 12 or 13. The older he gets with the storms and the fireworks, things like that, really upset him. But CBD has been a lifesaver for us. Mm-hmm. And I have a 22-year-old that graduated from college, started his big job in June. And it's very stressful, a lot of things to learn, but he has to drive a distance. So he's got all of that, complete lifestyle change from having a great time in college and going to a serious work and with a lot of obligations. And he was pretty, he had a lot of, I say a lot of anxiety, between the whole lifestyle change. And I know, so I gave him CBD. So he started taking it, and he's like, you know what? I feel much better when I take the CBD. So for him to say it at 22 was like amazing. But just to hear, I could hear if he misses it, like he's a little more on edge. But when he takes it, he's totally smooth out, like Phil says. And he is so much better at dealing with his day, and everything's better. So anyway, I just gave you a whole little scenario. My whole family uses it. And my other son too, but that's pretty impressive. It's been life-changing for us.
And I'm thinking right now, like Donna, you covered the whole endocannabinoid system, right? Like, so if you think about it, like one thing hits it all, and it's hitting all of your family's every organ system. And that's,
I know, for me, it's multifaceted. I needed it for multi things, and that's what it does. It goes in and it turns on what was turned off, so yep, you can function better. So it's been amazing.
It's amazing. And that reduced cream, that is my favorite product out of all of that. So anyway, so the athlete told his sister about CBD. She used it. It worked. Fast forward, she wanted to give it to her kids. She couldn't find anything clean out there. In fact, the FDA did research on CBD. They pulled stuff off the shelves. It's published research. 80% of the CBD on the market right now is mislabeled. that's a huge issue. You don't know what you're getting because it's not a regulated industry. So she went to her husband, who is the CEO of the largest sweet potato, organic sweet potato company in the world, and said, listen, can we grow some hemp, make some CBD so we can give it to our kids? And that's kind of how that's kind of what happened with our company, which is pretty amazing. So they were only going to create something that was good enough for their friends and their family, right? And so that's really what makes Green Compass different, is that we are truly the only company, the social selling type company, that has the USDA organic certification for our full line of products. That is rare and difficult to get. And we're also the only vertical integrated company. And what does that mean? Is that we outsource nothing. We control everything to ensure quality assurance. So we control the production. We plant the seeds on the USDA organic soil, which is difficult. We use the best carrier oils, so we get the most absorption of CBD in our body. We have the most environmentally friendly production processes. We control the bottling, and every single bottle has a QR code on the bottom of it. Well, my QR codes have fallen off my bottles, but basically there's a QR code on every bottle. You can scan it and it gives the ingredients. That's called a certificate of analysis. There you go. Donna's got it there. That's saying, here's what's in our bottles. We're going to prove it to you versus mislabel it. And so we do that as well. And so we also partner with the University of North Carolina. We do research and development so we can create things on a dime. When COVID hit and there was no hand sanitizer, we created hand sanitizer that had essential oils, wouldn't dry out your hands. You can spray it in your mask. You can use it at tables when you go to restaurants. You can use it everywhere. We created the jellies that Bill was talking about, the first of its kind that's USDA organically certified. So we are on mission to create the highest quality products that you can give your friends and family. And that's what's really amazing about it. And what's really kind of amazing is that when you think about just this company and what we've done in just over 2 years, we've sold $35 million worth of CBD by word of mouth alone, because people like us on this call are sharing their experiences. When we first started, Green Compass didn't really understand direct sales. They just didn't know. So they hired a consultant and said, we don't know. We want to dream bigger. We want to tell more people about this, but we don't know how to do this. We're farmers. And so the company, they helped set them up, the processes, and they said, if you sell $500,000 your first year, that's a win. Well, we sold $11.5 million because people loved the products. And then we doubled it. Our second year was right when the pandemic hit. We had our first year anniversary. So that our second year, we doubled that to 25 million. So that's why, in just over 2 years, we've sold $35 million. And the exciting thing is that the industry has just started. It's a $1 billion industry now. It's poised to be $24 billion in the next 3 years. And what's beautiful about this company is that we're just people that care about people, and we've had great experiences and we're sharing it with people. And so it's a gift to be able to do that, but then also dream a little bit bigger for our families. And say, hey, you know what? With this business, I paid for all of our vacations this year. And we took vacations because we stored them up during COVID and didn't go anywhere. And so we really went big this year. But I wanted to introduce Paul as we close it out, because I want Paul to share his story, because I met Paul in a social selling company several years ago. A different one, but we always stay connected as friends. And I reached out to him to say, hey, this CBD is great stuff. Do you want to try it? And so as a friend, he's like, yeah, I'd love to give this a try. So Paul, would you like to share a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thank you for asking me to as well. So it was around this time last year that Laura approached me about it, and I was looking for something new. So our previous experience together had to do with health and wellness as well. So it was a path that I was already on. So this was something that was, I guess you could say up and coming, was also new. Back up, 2008, I was running my own business. I'm a plumber by trade. So decided I want to try it on my own. So if I wasn't out in the field working, there was no money coming in. So the only time you have to run the business is in the evening when you get home. So, family kind of gets pushed aside because there's a lot of stress with, billing and, money coming in, money going out and stuff like that. So here I was last year working for a contractor doing sales, and it was the busy time of the year. So I'd make sales calls all day long. And then in the evening, I'd come home. And now I kind of live alone. So I have, families grown up. I had time in the evening to do all my proposals. Problem was, last thing I wanted to do when I got home was to do the proposal. So I noticed that shortly after starting CBD is I came home and was able to sit at my desk and just go through the proposals and get them done one by one without blinking an eye. So it was kind of nice. I didn't have to think about it. It wasn't a drag. I just did it. 10 o'clock's kind of my bedtime, and I'd go to sleep without a problem. I'd always be out when my head hit the pillow, but I experienced a much deeper restless sleep. Was always an early riser as a kid. I'd be riding my bike through the neighborhood, waiting for signs of life at my buddies' houses. So I'm a 4:30, 5 o'clock guy. And really now, I don't have to set an alarm. When I wake up, I know it's around 4:30, 5 o'clock. And as much as I'd like to sleep more, I can't, my head just won't let me do it. So I'm up, I'm rested, I feel great. About 1 o'clock, between 1 and 3, I take my dose of CBD, gets me through the evening. And it's been wonderful. I'm sure it has other benefits for me as far as stress and stuff like that. I trust it to do that. I can't tell you that it does, but I do trust the product because it's quality and you have a lot of options as far as dosing. I use the 750 milliliter. I know, Phil, you said use the 1,000. I was doing 0.75 dose. I'm now doing I'm doing a 0.1. So I've kind of upped it a little bit because there's probably in the middle of the product offering, because you can go up to 2,500, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there's a lot of options to do with what makes you feel the best. There's no set thing that you have to do to accomplish a certain goal. It just, the endocannabinoid system is such that, this little thing helps a lot of different stuff. And I can't wait to try the new elderberry jellies, because I also take an elderberry shot daily when I have it. And it'd be nice to incorporate the two of them. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome.
And it is really cool that they came out with that elderberry thing right before the cold and flu season, right? So now we have something for the immune system. But I am just so grateful to have had the opportunity to connect with people like Paul, like Bill, like Donna, just to be able to share something that helps them in their own way. And like Paul said, that it's not one fit. Like something works different. It works differently for everybody, but it helps everybody in their own way, and everyone's seeking it for a different reason. So I'm just really grateful to be part of this movement, and part of a company that's rooted in the family. And so, if you're curious about the products, and you want to take a look at them, we could send you links, send you information. You can join as a preferred customer. There's nothing you have to do to be a preferred customer except for set up an account. There's no requirements to purchase. There's nothing like that. It's very easy and seamless. So there's no hidden fees or anything like that. And if you're curious about the opportunity, it's just a rare opportunity. And I'll be honest, when I was approached by Valerie, who's one of the 9 founders of the company, I originally said no, because I thought you could get it at a gas station. And so I was like, why would I want to be associated with something like that? And then when I learned what we're telling everyone tonight, what I learned, and that it's so important to educate people, and it's truly a movement, and to help people get the right stuff, because people don't know. I was like, I'm all in. I love healthcare. I was in healthcare. I was in pharmaceuticals for years. Now I love natural wellness, but I like educate. I like just to help my friends. And so it's just, it's really rewarding, both financially, to be honest, but also it's more rewarding to be part of this culture and what we're doing. So I promised we get off on time, and I lied because we're 3 minutes over, and I will beg for forgiveness. But I'm really grateful that everyone was on tonight. True pleasure. Follow up with whoever invited you to the call if you have any questions. And we know you could have been anywhere tonight, but you chose to be here, and we're thankful for that. So have a wonderful evening, and thank you again.